Nash, welcome to the show, man. Thanks for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me, Ashwin.
Yeah. So I mainly want to get into one topic with you, and that's emotional support, because that's I've touched upon it with a few other guests, but I've never really got into it. So the first thing I want to get straight with you is, how do you identify somebody who requires emotional support? Because it's not always that obvious.
Ooh, that is a tough question because it is so diverse,
Right.
right? And
Definitely.
I think what you can do is notice the changes in the four categories you can pay attention to. Okay, the thought patterns. Pay attention to the changes in the emotional state and in the behaviors, and also let's say thoughts, behaviors, emotion. Last one, but you put me on the spot. I have this unlocked there. Appearance, and change in appearance, right? So, like for example, if someone who is always very well kept all of a sudden become a little disheveled, it's a
Right.
sign. Or someone who like always very outgoing but become a little more like recluse all of a sudden, more withdrawn. That's a sign right there. And thought pattern, like they are always very confident, but all of a sudden they started like feeling like they can't even do the simplest thing. So you can pay attention to those changes in there, and the way you measure it though is it's not like, oh, that person today was very angry, like he must be going through something, mental state, mental health challenge, right? Not necessarily, because it could just mean that that person had a bad day. It could be that, right? So we want to measure those changes in three categories: in duration, how long it's been going on; frequency, how frequent those changes; and impact, how impactful were those changes. So that is the textbook answer for you for how do you notice someone if they're going through a mental health challenge.
So basically, I mean, you have a baseline of who they are, their personality, and anything that deviates from that for an extended amount of time is usually a change. How do you differentiate that from like a personality change, or like a mindset shift? If like they go through a growth stage or something like that. That's something positive, but they become different.
And I guess that depends on the impact of those changes. Like, are those changes
Okay.
impacting their everyday life? Like, because if they change for the good, then that's not a problem.
Yeah.
Like, some right. Like, but if all of a sudden it's impacting their ability to handle everyday life, then that is a time where you might want to check in with them. Like, hey, is everything okay with you, my friend? So those are good times. Yeah.
Have you seen the quote? It's what was it? Oh, you can never trust a smiling man because you never know what's going on inside. Or so God, I'm blanking right now. It was such a great line too. God damn it.
You can never trust a smiling man. You can never, I mean, I've never heard of it, but it makes sense.
Yeah,
It
or
makes a lot of sense. Mhm.
yeah, it's a yeah. I mean, I guess the concept of it is you can't trust somebody off just what their facial expression is at one point in time. And I do go by that a lot. It's helped me.
Is that right? Yeah, yeah. Can you share some examples, or it's too private to share?
No, 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 of course. It's very general, very general. Like certain for me and my friends are like, if somebody walks in the room that we don't like, our face changes immediately. Or
Okay.
if like something's going on, if there is something going on, it's like, oh, like people look at my face and they can they can't tell if the really close ones can tell, like my best friend can tell, or if something's going on with him, I can tell. But for the average person who's like, even if we see them every day, they look at the like a facial expression and they can't read us that accurately, if you know what I mean.
Yes. 100%. Yeah. It
Okay.
takes time to know someone.
Yeah.
Yeah. It takes
Yeah.
time. Yeah. It's
So
interesting. It's very go
good.
for it. Yeah.
No, no, please, please. I was about to ask you the next question, but I want you to elaborate, please.
No, it's very like instinctual. Like a lot of these
Yeah.
like seem very textbook, right? You got step one, step two, step three, but a lot of human interaction is very. It's just
Complicated.
you just know. You just know that moment. Oh, that person is going through something. You can sense it. So there's something instinctual about human interaction that I found discover. So yeah, back to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's you identify these factors on somebody. How do you go about helping them? How do you go
Mm.
about providing that emotional support?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked the question. One is you want to, well, different situation call for different help too, but let's just
Yeah.
the most general term, right?
Yeah.
You do want to approach that person, um, not like cornering them. Like physically, you want to leave them. Like you don't want to be in a room locked in, like back to the corner. Like tell me what's going on. You don't want to do that. Because a lot of times, if someone is going through something difficult, right, they might not be as upfront with you right away. It's not likely that they'll be like just like pour everything out right away, right? You want to give them the psychological safety first to let them know that you're here for them, and it really is just opening up that conversation. And one thing that I have learned from mental health first aid is to use I statement instead of we statement. Like for example, if you and your friends notice another friend has not been quite like himself, if you walk up to him and be like, hey, we noticed that you haven't been quite like yourself lately, can I ask what's going on? When I say that to you, my friend, how does it make you feel?
It feels, comforting or looked after.
um, Comforting. Okay, maybe a friend's not good. Good example. Like
Okay,
coworkers, right? If you're
was that not the right
yeah,
answer?
that no. Say if your coworker, right? Your
Mm,
whole team knows that he has been quite like himself, and if you go and be like, "Hey, we noticed that you haven't been quite like yourself."
mm,
When you say the word "we," it can make the person feel like
it's a little
people are
intimidating.
gossiping. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
talking about him behind their back. So that does not give them the
yeah,
psychological safety. But
I see.
instead, use I statement. I use I statement. Always like, hey, I noticed that you haven't been quite like yourself. Can I ask you, is everything okay? When you use I, that one word change creates like a dramatic degree in response. Yeah, I think you felt it a moment
So,
ago. Hopefully,
yeah, is it
yeah.
because, like, they feel closer to you? Like, obviously, the "we" makes it feel like you said, they're gossiping behind me, but then when I say,
Mhm.
"Oh, I noticed something's going on," is that
Mhm.
comforting? Like, okay, this person noticed a change and they wanna help? Is that the mind like, what's that person thinking in that moment?
I think so. I think this
Okay.
person really cares,
Yeah.
and is also not, like I said, not gossipy. Like that person really wants to know, like, hey, I'm here for you. I see that something might be going on. Can I be your companion and help you through it? So I think that's very empowering in and of itself. Like, and there's a research that shows that um, like you don't need to know how to solve someone's problem. By the simple gesture of reaching out to someone, that alone can make someone else feel better by 70%. So it's
Damn.
incredible. Even the person say, I don't want to talk about it, but that gesture alone itself make them feel like they're not all alone. So that's very powerful by reaching out. So yeah, you want to just approach them, tell them you know something's going on, and ask them if it's okay if you want to begin a conversation and talk about it. If they don't, you respect it and just let them know that I understand. I'm sorry, you're going through such a difficult time right now, but my door's always open. I'm always here. You can text me, call me, or just leave me a note if you want to. I'm always here. So that's always the best way to go about it.
Okay. You said leave
Yeah.
them a way out. What does that mean, and how do you do that in a
Oh,
conversation?
like for example, if you're not in a room together, right?
Mhm.
You should have access to the exit, like
Oh, like
physically,
physically.
not
Okay,
like
okay.
lock.
I
Yeah,
thought I
your
thought
your
you meant
body language.
verbally, like give them a way to like
Oh,
leave, change the subject or something. Okay, okay.
my bad.
You're good. You're good.
Like physically, just straight up, blatantly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what it is.
Oh,
Yeah,
don't lock
yeah.
them in
Body
the room
language.
before you confront them.
Yeah, body
Yeah.
language is also very important too, because we
Mm,
want to be a calming presence for someone. And it's difficult sometimes, I know, because when you hear someone else's sorrow or pain, it will affect you. You will show up on your on your reaction, right? But try to be as calm as you can. Be the calming presence for them. So that's another thing I can share
okay.
with you. Yeah, I should wait for you to ask a question first. Sorry, I'm just like blah, 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 blah,
Oh,
blabbing
please,
on over
please.
here.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
That's what we're here
Yeah.
for. I gotta tell you, Nash, I don't like when people give me like a 2 sentence answer and then they just shut up. Like it doesn't. It's gotta get a good flow going, like we got going right now. But otherwise, it's just boring for the both of us.
Touche. I'm with you. I'm with you, my.
So you were on the crisis line, right? You were working the
Yeah,
crisis line?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, my friend. I still am. I still am
You
actually.
still
Yeah,
am? Okay, okay.
yeah. It's
What are the
been
biggest lessons?
ooh, man,
Biggest
you have
lessons you've
time?
learned? I got
Do you got time, my friend?
we're at 11
Whoa.
we got 20 minutes, man. We got 20 minutes max, so
Oh man. Let me think of just a few. I don't.
give me,
There's a
like,
lot of lessons.
3 or 4 of the big ones that, like, really affect people and really could help somebody.
Mm, okay. One, never underestimate the power of listening. A lot of times on a crisis line, um, the other person feels better not because of something inspiring or something very clever that I say. It's about how I demonstrate to them that I have understood them, that I have, acknowledged what's going on with them, that I have, stay present with them. Sometimes, like on a phone call, the other person can talk for like, not even kidding, like 15 minutes straight, and I don't even get a chance to ask a question. But at the end, the person will be like, "I feel so much better now. Thank you for being here for me." And they hung up, and I was like, "What just happened? Did I just help someone, right?" But trust me, that like that humanistic power of being with someone, another human being, and being seen and being understood by another human being is empowering in and of itself. So never underestimate your ability to listen, which takes it to the second like takeaway. When you're trying to be helpful with someone, like become very aware if you have any preconception about the other person, or especially this is a little too heavy, especially when it comes to like suicide intervention. uh Everybody have their own beliefs, have their own perspective on suicide. Some people might think that this is something that you should never do. Like it's a sin, if you do this, you might, affect your
Yep,
afterlife. You know what I mean? So, but it's important that we don't let our own belief get in the way of us helping someone else. You don't want the other person to feel judged by you, right? Because that's not listening. You're judging them, right?
yep.
So yeah, I have something that goes along a line of that. Because I'll save it for later. But one of the I have a lot of thoughts in my head. That's how I'm saying. That's the first two over here. So being non-judgmental, being a good listener, and third is the power of asking question. It
So active
is
listening.
active listening, yeah, and asking them what they think they should do instead of
Mm,
directly telling them, "Hey, do this, do this, do that." You know, I know
yeah.
it sounds weird. I know it sounds, but from what I have learned from crisis line, also studying this subject, right? Especially for folks who have gone through trauma. When you've gone through trauma, it feels like your choices are being taken away from you. So they come to you for help, and then you just like tell them what to do. You then take choices away from them
Yeah.
again. So it can be like a double impact trauma for them. So I know it's very textbook, right? But
Yeah,
it's
I feel like when
um
somebody has that problem, like, most people from what I've seen, most people usually have an answer with, like, deep down, and it's either one of 2 things. They just don't wanna accept the answer, or they don't know it exists, but, like, in the back of their mind, they know what to do, and they know exactly how to do it. But I guess
yeah,
what they need is a little push.
yeah, be there, exactly, be the push, be the sounding board, so they can talk things through, so they can find the best solution. And this is not something I learned from crisis line, but I learned this from mental health first aid. And there's a very beautiful way to phrase it, because to help someone who are going through a mental health challenge, they can either go with a professional help like counselor, therapy, right? But they can also go with self-help. Some people prefer to just read self-help book. Some people prefer to go on yoga or just have the meditation. You know what I mean? And there's a
Yeah.
quote that is very beautiful. What you say is, let's say actually you're going through something difficult right now, right? And I'm here for you. I'll be like, hey, you know what? For some people, they might go with a therapist. For others, they might try something like yoga. I'm just here to find out what works best for you. So you give them
Sounds
the
pretty
power to
good.
know that I'm just. I know it's called for some, for others, for you, for some,
Ah,
for others, for you. Yeah, it's a beautiful quote. I always love, yeah, sharing that with people because it's really helpful. I feel like, yeah. So yeah, so that was a very long answer. My goodness, sorry about
very
that.
nice.
Yeah,
No, I like it. So
yeah.
we've gone through these things, how to identify somebody in emotional distress, how to help them, and the steps to go through. So now
Mhm.
more of a I don't want to say career. How do you translate this to leadership? I know you did a small talk on this. If you give me a few words on that.
You got it. You know what is funny is the principle behind how to be a good phone worker on the crisis line. Those empowerment skills are very much directly, translatable to leadership, because just like how I my job is to empower someone through the phone line, right? I think a lot of times leaders, the job is very similar. It's about how well they take care of the people around them, how they support them, and how they empower them. Because if I ask you, I like, what are some of the best leaders you have worked for? Like, can you give me some of the best traits, right?
Yeah.
What would that be
People who worked with me throughout the
with
process
you?
of training, like they did the steps with me, and it's actually 99% of the time, it's 100% of the time, it's somebody who was once in my same shoes at one point.
Gotcha. So someone who guide you through things, someone who like help
Right.
you, they genuinely want you to be better, right? So
Hmm.
that principle is what I want to inspire leaders to do, is to take care of people, kind of like how the skills I use to empower folks on the crisis line, right? So I don't want to go talk to. Okay, let's go into it. So let's go into it. So
Go into it. Go into it.
essentially, right? Essentially, similarly, for the crisis line, we want the other caller to feel cared for and feel supported as human first, as people first, right? And I believe that's very important for leaders too. You want to take care of people as people first, not just the work they provide. And the example I give is my wife's boss. Yeah, she's amazing at it. She always make her feel careful and feel supported, and that helps because 2 years ago my wife left the job to be a stay-at-home mom, but last year she went back on a part-time per diem basis, not because of the money, but it really was because of the genuine care and compassion and support she feel from her leaders. That
Mm.
was the reason why she
Most
came back.
people leave
It really
because of
is.
their boss.
She came back because she was so, like, God. I don't know if I can even. Okay, no, I cannot share this. Some of the very heartwarming story that her boss does for her people. I was
Uh,
like out of her own pocket, like out of her own pocket, good. You know what I mean? Out of her own
yeah,
paycheck to help. I mean, you want to talk about taking care of people. You want to talk about building
that's
long
it
lasting
right there.
loyalty, right?
Yeah,
People feel cared for, they're there for you. So I think that's the baseline for skills from crisis line to leadership. And the other one is just learn how to be better at listening, learn how to be a better communicator, learn how to be uplifting, learn how to always just be curious about your people, because people are always evolving, right? But genuinely be curious about where they want to go, what their goals are, so you can help them get to where they want to go to. Just like the leaders that you mentioned, right? They're always there to help you grow. So yeah,
I
those
got
are the
it. Yeah.
skills and lessons I learned from Price Line. Yep.
And most of those times, if I benefit, the leader usually does benefit as well. So it's in their self interest.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
rising tide raise all boats, right?
Right.
That's a key right there. Yep.
Awesome, man. You kind of answered this already, but my final question: what are Nash Fung's words of wisdom?
My words of wisdom, my
Yeah.
life philosophy.
Yeah.
Man, so I just turned 42 yesterday.
You're 42.
Yes, are you 42? You're not 42, are
No,
you?
I'm 21.
Oh no, you're young. You're very young, my friend. Yeah, I am double your age. Woo! Okay.
Dude,
All
I
right,
thought
this
you
is
were like
amazing.
you do not look 42, I have to say. Nowhere near
Hey
42.
man, I'm gonna show my gray hair, bro. Let me. Oh, there you go. There you go. Look at
Mm,
that gray hair. That's
yeah.
very 42. Man, I don't know. I don't want to sound cliche, but it really is, just be compassionate and be kind to people. We only have one life. Just be as nice as you can to people. People is is all we have in this world. We don't take away anything, but the relationship and the memories we have, we build in this life, that's the most important. So be good to people. People might be good to you. uh, but at
Yeah,
the end of the
it's
day,
a gamble. You don't know. It's a gamble.
you don't, and you don't. But you know what? At the end of the day, you have a good conscience. You can rest easy at night knowing that I have put out good in the world. So no matter what happened to me.